and welcome to Long Live the Queen, where we talk about the women who made history. And by we, I mean the royal we, because it's just me. Today, we're going to talk about Alice Kyteler and Petronilla deMeath. Have you ever heard of Petronilla deMeath before? She was the first woman in the UK to be burned at the stake for witchcraft. To start the story, though, we actually have to start with another woman named Alice Kyteler. Alice Kyteler was born in the year of our Lord, 1260. She was the only child of a Flemish family of merchants who settled in Ireland in the mid to late 13th century. She was married at least 4 times. First, to a man generally assumed to have been named William Outlaw. Then Adam le Blund, then Richard de Val, then Sir John Lepore. Her first husband, William Outlaw, probably because we don't really know if that was his name, she was probably married to him from 1280 to 1285. He was a wealthy merchant and moneylender. Her second husband was Adam Blund. Adam was also a moneylender. One of her relatives was accused of stealing 3,000 pounds from Alice and Adam. Alice and Adam were then accused of killing that relative and his accomplice. 3,000 pounds was a lot more then than it is now. It was said that King Edward I intervened on their behalf. Her third husband, Richard de Val, was a wealthy landowner, so she had a type, and that type was a rich bitch. After her third husband's death, she took legal actions against her stepson for her dower income. She was a wealthy widow times 3. Her stepchildren didn't dig it, and they had bad blood. They felt like she had taken the money meant for them. Her fourth husband was John Lepore. Alice had a bad reputation by this point. She was wealthy, and it's not lost on me that she married someone named Lepore. She was a wealthy woman on her fourth husband and had been accused of murder and sued her stepchildren, so her street reputation wasn't great. Her stepson brought an elaborate case to the bishop against her that was twisted into an elaborate satanic conspiracy. This was the Satanic Panic, circa 1324. 7 formal charges were brought against Alice and her accomplices. 2 of her alleged accomplices were Petronilla deMeath and Petronilla's daughter, Sarah. These are the 7 charges that they were charged with. Buckle up. 1. Denying the power of Christ and of the Church. Because during this period, renunciation of faith was interpreted as a shift to worshiping the devil. 2. Sacrificing animals to her supposed demon lover, Robert or Robin, son of Art. So we don't know. He was either named Robert or Robin, but his dad's name was definitely Art. 3. Asking demons for advice on witchcraft. But, who else are you going to ask? Demons probably know all the answers about witchcraft. 4. Having a sexual relationship with the incubus Robin Artisan. Okay, so I didn't know what an incubus was. I had to ask my husband, who plays a lot of video games. And he's like, "What are you reading?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's this whole witch trial thing." Anyway, incubus. So apparently he can just magically seduce women. That's kind of the vibe. And it was alleged that Robin Artisan often took the form of animals or an Ethiopian when engaging with Kyteler. Okay? So random. 5. Holding coven meetings and burning candles in the church at night without permission. This group included Robert of Bristol, Petronilla deMeath, Petronilla's daughter Sarah, and a few others. The whole coven was there. 6. Making dark magic-based powers and ointments or potions from multiple alarming ingredients, including, but not limited to, body parts of unbaptized children, worms, a skull, and chicken innards. It was alleged that said potions were used to corrupt her husbands. Definitely it was her fault that her husbands were up to no good. 7. Bewitching and killing her husbands to take their money for herself and her son, William Outlaw. They thought she was a gold digger. And worse than that, they thought she was a black widow, that she just marry rich men and then kill them and then take their money and become even richer. Before sentencing, Keiteler, along with Petronilla deMeath's daughter Sarah, escaped. There are no records of their life after their escape. Their date of death is unknown, along with the location of any burial sites. Her first 3 husbands never accused her of anything, but her 4th husband, Lepore, accused her of witchcraft after he allegedly got ill from one of her potions. Okay, to be fair, she was heavily into herbology, and she did make potions, medications, ointments, if you will. And that was just seen as witchcraft adjacent, basically. The church investigated Alice and her followers. Because Alice and Sarah escaped, we have no other information on them. But Petronilla was detained, and we do know what happened to her. Petronilla was tortured. All of her less wealthy alleged associates also were tortured because they were poor, and probably because of the torture, they confessed to all of the charges, all 7 of them. They were like, yep, that's what we did, just please stop. Petronilla claimed that Keiteler allowed a demon to know her carnally, that she consulted devils and made potions, and that Keiteler denied the faith of Christ and the church. Petronilla also held that she and her mistress applied a magical potion to a wooden beam, which enabled both women to fly. It's good for them. Petronilla was then forced to make a public proclamation that Keiteler and her followers were guilty of witchcraft. Petronilla was whipped 6 times, making me think there were 6 separate sessions of whippings, not 6 whips. John Clean, the Franciscan chronicler, recorded her death. Petronilla deMeath was condemned for sorcery, lot-taking, and offering sacrifices to demons, consigned to the flames and burned. Moreover, before her, even in olden days, it was neither seen nor heard that anyone suffered the death penalty for heresy in Ireland. Petronilla deMeath was a woman featured in an art installation named The Dinner Party, and it covers 39 women. And in addition to Petronilla, other women from that dinner party that I have done episodes on are Eleanor of Aquitaine and Queen Elizabeth I. And that is where I'll leave it for now. What did you think of Alice Keiteler and Petronilla deMeath, with a special guest star of Sarah? They were the first women in the UK to be charged with witchcraft, and Petronilla was the first woman to be burned at the stake for it, but definitely not the last. There are many more to come. You can share your thoughts with me at longlivethequeenpodcast@gmail.com or on Facebook or Instagram at Long Live the Queen Podcast. This episode was brought to you by my patrons. And if you want to join us over on Patreon, the link is in the show description. Long live to all the queens out there. And until next time, bye.
You'll be remembered.
Thanks for listening.